Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining. I'm your host, Eric Murphy. It is Skeptic Generation, Season 5, Episode 23. It's June 28th, 2026. Thank you for joining. This is Skeptic Generation. We need to talk. Joining me today is my friend, Atticus. Atticus, how's it going?
Uh-oh. It's going... Oh.
Uh-oh. Here we go. There we go. Hey.
Hi. No, it's good to be here. It is the last episode of Pride Month for, at least for most of the country.
Yeah.
Portland is special in that we have our Pride in July. So we get 2 months of Pride here.
We do. But it is interesting seeing how Pride is affecting everyone and how people have been interacting with Pride this month, especially since, yeah, you're right. You and I are about to go into Pride Month where we are. It kind of set the tone for what you and I wanted to talk about today.
It did.
Yeah. So the title of the episode is I Came Out and All I Got Was This Stupid Shirt. Not this shirt. This shirt is awesome. But, you know, do you want to give what we're talking about today? Like lay out the premise? Yeah.
So the era of visible pride really started to take off in like the post recession Obama second term era, as the queer rights movement got its second wind in that era. We started making inroads. It became kind of cool. You could see that we were the underdogs, but the momentum was with us. And then we started getting these wins, like, ooh, marriage equality in this state, and in this state, and in this state. And it was kind of a trend on Facebook. You'd be like, oh, you'd be counting up. It's like, there's now most of us. Okay. And then, okay, there's another tick. And then finally, in June of 15, we got the national marriage equality, the right to national marriage equality. From there, went gangbusters.
Yeah.
Target had a whole fucking pride section. Every corporate logo was a bastardization of the rainbow. Everybody offered platitudes and Twitter posts. And
so I'm interested. How did that affect you? Because like you're still a baby. I forget this.
Yeah,
but how old were you when this was happening?
So here's the thing. I've come out a handful of times. I came out once when I was 12 and promptly ran back into the closet when my parents told me that, no, God doesn't make people that way. That's a mistake. Go pray about it. And I went, okay, you're right. Absolutely.
Okay.
And then I came out again as a pansexual at the time, man, in 2016 when I was 21, like the day after Trump won.
All right.
The first time.
That I live there.
Yeah.
It's a good place. It's a good neighborhood.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was the era of like pride washing was something I experienced not as a trans woman. It was something that I experienced as an ally. It was something that I was like, oh yeah, those people deserve rights. Let trans women be women. This doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
And the pandemic happened, and I think that was kind of like the last big hurrah for the corporate pride is the term I'll use for the rest of the episode. Corporate pride.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I have like the last shirt I bought from like Target at Pride was before I came out. I moved to Portland. I wore that same shirt to my first Portland Pride. I was rocking a beard and hair that was cropped. And,
holy shit. So I gotta say, like at that time, I remember it being so I'm old. When did you graduate high school, Addie?
13.
I graduated in 2005. And
that is a year before my older brother.
Okay. Damn. Yeah. So like I definitely, hold on a second. My camera is extremely dark. Is there an issue with my camera?
It is a little dark now that you say it.
I'll need to fix it afterward. Okay. Sorry, I was getting
like buzzed. I can see you perfectly fine,
okay.
But it is dungeonesque.
Well, so it is a little bit different. I had someone come in and mess around with my lights and things like that. One of V's siblings dropped by and wanted to try things out, and so things are a little funny. Anyway, I apologize. So yeah, I graduated in '05, and I definitely remember being 18, 19. That's '06, '07, '08. That's when Prop 8 was making its way through California. And I remember the Obergefell case. But what really stuck in my mind at the time was during the Obama administration, I would joke about how they kept Joe Biden locked up in a box somewhere. And every once in a while he would wander out of the box and cause havoc. And it filled me with glee. Joe Biden was a different kind of, he was a totally different person as vice president. It's interesting. And
he was a fun guy. Like he was the type of person that they did not want talking to the press because he was just the type of dude that would say what's on his mind in a really convincing way.
Yeah, and famously he did. He was talking to the press and he said that he thinks gay people should be able to get married, and absolutely forced Obama's hand on it. And so Obama needed to come out like a day or two later saying, yeah, we support gay marriage. And like, I don't know, it was just a vibe, you know, and I think that, to me at least, is the whole reason why I thought that Biden could be a good president. Was seeing the way he was as vice president. But moving on with the corporate pride, yeah, once that took off, like it was everywhere. And I didn't come out as bisexual, pansexual, whatever you want to call it, until after COVID.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I say interesting as though COVID was only a few years ago. It was 6 years ago. It's closer to a decade ago than 5 years ago.
And so I definitely saw myself as an ally as well. In fact, you know, when it comes to being bisexual, pansexual, you don't really, like, you live on the edge of the outskirts of town. Yeah. You know, like you're in town, you know, but it's not, you know.
It's more of a wink and a nod than it is coming out of a closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember that, yeah, everything was just packed with rainbows every June. You know, you'd go to Walmart, and it would just be packed with gay stuff. You know, go to Target, go to, you know, everywhere. And yeah, corporate pride. I remember people complaining about it and saying, now that it's socially, you know, now that socially we're happily accepting LGBT folks, you can't say corporate pride understands Q. You can't. But like that corporations are hopping on board, and I would hear so many people complain about it and say, you know, that they're just monetizing people's identities where they can, and only because it's convenient. And we're not seeing that this year. In fact, we're seeing the after effects of last year, where a lot of companies, what's the word? Preemptive. When you do for the fascists what they want before they ask.
Appeasement.
Sure. In an effort to appease the Trump administration, a lot of companies distanced themselves as far as they could from any of that stuff.
And they did that the moment he won. I don't know if anybody recalls that. The moment he won, like within 30 to 60 days of the November election, not even of him getting inaugurated, of the November election, people were rolling back DEI initiatives because he was campaigning on removing tax benefits and tax breaks for DEI compliance. And then once he was in office, it was like
immediately.
nobody was talking about it anymore
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't something that they could win the culture war with.
Right. And so this pride is a lot more Spartan when it comes to seeing this kind of corporate pride. And it's interesting. I guess I the conversation I want to have is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And I want people to chime in. So I want to put the phone number out there, and then I want to talk to you about it. The phone number, guys, this is a call-in show. Call us. We have a call screener waiting to take, waiting to hear from you. You can call via on the phone, toll free. We're paying for it. We're also paying for a line to be kept open. So you can call online, 412-SKEPGEN. That's 412-753-7436. Or you can go to tiny.cc/SKEPGEN. That's tiny.cc/SKEPGEN. Also, before we really dive into things, here we go. Yep. I do just want to say that our volunteer, Q, is having their birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Q. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a reliable volunteer that we can depend on. We appreciate you. Okay. So, when I say, and by the way, this is as far as you and I got in preparation for the show. And you thought of the title. I came out and all I got was this stupid shirt. So what's your opinion on this? Like, is it a good thing that corporations are kowtowing to the Trump administration's fascist fucking anti everyone policy?
So I think it's a double-edged sword.
Okay.
There's when corporate pride was at its peak.
Preemptive compliance. Sorry.
Yes, that's the better word. When it was at its peak, there was a benefit to having muscle behind visibility, and muscle being money in this case. There was some muscle for being socially visible. The onus didn't rest on those of us who are visibly queer, or visibly clockable. Because so I went to a farmer's market like 2 weeks ago with my friend, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to come to this pride event?" We were not dressed pridefully. We were not like wearing any sort of pride gear. We just were at a farmer's market and had deep voices as women. So they were like, "We'd love to invite you to our local city pride here on the coast."
Oh,
and I was
please,
like,
for the love of God, tell me you turned to them and said, "I'm a cis woman, you bastard." Like,
so
just fucking.
I was like, "No, I'm not local. I won't be back. I'm sorry." But like, that's the type of shit you get by well-meaning allies. Not that I appreciate that they're well-being. I appreciate that they saw us and was like, "Hey, it's hard right now. Come to our pride. Come be safe at our pride." That's as kind of like as it is. People mean well, and the safety in the community is what makes the pride. But I'm digressing. It helped to have corporate muscle behind it. It did. However, the muscle is only as good as the profit. When they can't profit off of us, when they can't profit off the general public, when they can't profit off of the virtue signaling that they had, they stopped doing it. And then we kind of really saw what their values were, because corporations are not inherently obligated to have values. Their values are, where can I get the most money? And they couldn't get it with us. They couldn't do it by sponsoring queer artists, queer designers, queer products. You certainly wouldn't find any tucking underwear in the Target women's section, just to be inclusive of the fact that, hey, trans women dress like women and therefore will be in the women's section. Hey, tucking underwear is something that we may want to use. For the record, let it hang, sis. I don't give a shit if anybody tucks. I don't want anybody to feel ever self-conscious about that. Anyway.
Yeah.
But when you can't profit off of us, it goes away. So, and I think returning the onus to the queer community for our representation, for our pride, is good. I think us reclaiming it for what it is good. Um, I think the fact that we need to be able to support ourselves, to aid our own communities, to learn kind of the get back to the roots of how our activism started. Taking care of each other, learning how to perform first aid, learning how to ensure that people have food, water. Where can we direct people with lack of resources for housing, who are going through encounters with violence, whether it's with the partner or the police or others?
Mhm.
This shit is so important for our community. And the fact that we kind of forgot it there for a good 5-10 years. And maybe those of us who have been in the trenches for a while have not forgotten it. But for the baby queers that came of age, for
Yeah,
people like me who graduated in 2013 and was still presenting as a cis man ally in 2015 and didn't come out as a trans woman until 2024. I was still like she, they, them in 2022, 2023. For those of us who are late to the party, this is a really integral time, and it's really, really beneficial for us to learn from those of us who came before, to learn how to care for each other, to support each other, and to fight. So I think it's a double-edged sword. Yes, the visibility helps. Does it suck that we are now kind of on our own? Yeah, but big but. It's invaluable for our community's survival that we learn how to do this.
Yeah. And to disentangle, capitalist motivations from doing what's right and doing what makes money are hardly ever the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when they happen to be, it's not because there was a virtue. Yeah, you're right. You say virtue signaling, and I think that that's charitable, because virtue signaling, I think, gives the impression that there was any virtue to signal, as much as there could have just been like convergent motivations. And so the motivations may have led to the same outcome, but we're never motivated by the same thing.
These are dollars that people are willing to spend. Let's provide a product for those dollars, is more how it came out.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to rail on more kind of anarchy talking points there, that just like when it comes to capitalism and the state, they feed each other.
Mm-hmm.
They shape each other. And so when you have a system based around making money, that system is going to shape its own watchers. They're going to shape the people who are supposed to be supervising them, and so it kind of becomes this negative feedback loop, and we're not on it. It is interesting because I feel like, now tell me if I go real far afield on this, but I do feel like the conversation is shifting in a really interesting way, because there are people, a lot of folks, who see that capitalism and the state feed each other and shape each other, and have decided that if you're going to change things, then you need to play ball. And so if we corporatize and like financially, how do I say this? By turning the rainbow flag into a product that you can buy, you are giving yourself an in to this system, this relationship of money and power. And I think that people were pointing out in the past that just because you're buying a pride flag doesn't mean that you're actually part of the system of money and power. You are a product, right? You're the mark. You're getting sold to, and I don't know. I feel like disentangling this is at least going to help us recognize this. But I am afraid that at some point, we're going to get another Democrat in office, and then we're just going to go right back to, oh, hey, did you see that they're selling, rainbow fucking whatevers at Target? Like, all the thermoses are rainbows at Target. Like, I got a matching plate set at Nordstrom, and it's all gay.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like, how do we prevent ourselves from falling back into that? Or do we want to embrace that when it does happen? Like, where are our values in relationship to this?
So I think the anti-capital movement has more. It has something that we didn't have last time. That happened, and uh, without putting too fine a point on it, it has DSA. And for those unaware, it's the Democratic Socialists of America. They are a very powerful activist group at this moment. They have been building a movement for the better part of 10, 15 years with incremental wins initially, to the point where they unseated three or defeated three corporate Democrats in the state of New York with Mayor Mamdani's endorsements. They have racked up wins like crazy across the country in the last 2 years, especially in the last 4. So we have an apparatus that is full of experienced and really willful organizers. And I don't see that going away. We've mentioned this on the podcast before, but Portland, our city council doesn't have a Republican presence. We have a Democratic presence, and we have a Democratic Socialist presence. Those are the two parties on the dais in the Portland City Council, and it's quickly changing nationwide for that to kind of be the norm, or at least part of the conversation in municipal politics, because these policies are popular. Bar anything else, these policies are popular, and to embrace those policies is also to embrace the individualism that is required of queer identity. So I think being queer and present and accepting has to go hand in hand with the anti-capital movement. They're linked. They just are. They go hand in hand. The spirits, the values. So I think as we keep notching up those wins, as we keep pushing for policies that benefit folks, the bigots will have less to complain about. New York has some of its lowest crime in recent memory. The Knicks just won for the first time in 53 years. They just enacted a rent freeze. They fixed 165,000 potholes, all with a DSA mayor. And I don't think the crime drop is to be ignored when people's needs are met. And when people's needs are met, they stop looking at queer people as the source of their problem. They stop looking at immigrants as the source of their problem, whether that's justified or not. I don't think it's justified. But when people are angry, they do stupid shit. And they get real stupid.
I don't know.
That's my theory. That's my theory of the case.
Okay.
And I'm completely open to having my mind changed.
Yeah,
I think I might actually rather have my mind changed than continue to believe that.
Okay. Let me offer up a counter idea here.
Please.
They're not mad about what's actually happening. They're mad about whatever story they're being told at the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that immigrants in the Midwest were going to do to change the minds of the people who thought that they were stealing and eating their cats and dogs.
Correct.
There's nothing that Mexican immigrants documented or even undocumented day laborers, right, come in on temporary visas or whatever. There's nothing they can do when what they're being accused of is mass narco syndicate kind of accusations. The idea that fixing potholes is going to give them less to complain about feels very idealistic, given the motivations that we've actually heard levied against the left. So while
It,
I would amend what you're saying
mhm.
to, people who are upset about potholes are
Yeah,
going to see their saviors in the people who are filling the potholes. You know,
I'm gonna put an asterisk when you're done with your thought.
yeah, go for it. What's up?
Um, it, to connect it, and I'm not sure I'm connecting my dots clearly enough.
Yeah,
I think that so the Democratic Party corporate is very much free speech absolutism. We have to hear both sides. We have to, like, if they, I didn't agree with Charlie Kirk, but he was an important part of our democratic process, like that kind of shit. That's far less acceptable in DSA circles. DSA is very much of the opinion, hey, punch Nazis. Hey, we should make billionaires afraid to show their face in public. The deal with like working class rights was that we get treated fairly and we don't drag you from your home and beat you to death in front of your family. That was the
which is what
agreement for
happened.
labor
Which is
rights.
what happened in the
Right. That's how
30s,
we got
40s.
those wins.
Yep.
We got those wins by being rowdy and a little scary. So DSA being part of that mindset while advocating for policies that benefit working people is probably more apt to what I was saying. That's how we get those wins. We make it more socially unappealing to come out as publicly anti-gay, anti-immigrant, anti-woman, anti anyone who's non-white, specifically Black and Hispanic people in this country. But that's probably closer to how I meant to say what I said.
Okay.
It's the just blatant pro worker message with the blatant anti get your bullshit out of here before I beat your ass in the streets kind of vibe. The scrappiness is what I think will right the ship a little bit.
I definitely think that the left needs scrappiness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's charitable because at this point, I feel like the left needs to demonstrate that it's even deserves the opportunity to prove itself. Like, I'm so disappointed, like, extraordinarily disappointed. Could you, I, sorry, we're moving in a direction. We're supposed to be keeping this on Pride. So let me recenter here just a little bit. So it feels like, can we say that it's a good thing that corporations are not trying to cash in on Pride, but for all the wrong reasons?
Yes, I think that would be fair. Like I think their lack of presence is a net good for our community. It's a net good for our cause. The reason for it is bad, but we as a community are stronger for them not being present, just like we as a community are stronger for not having cops at Pride. Like if you talk to the layman, no cops at Pride. No, Pride events are going to be the subject of no. There's a reason you don't see the Klan and the police in the same spot, as the saying goes back in
Yeah.
the 40s and 40s to 60s. There's a Klan rally. Where are all the police officers? I wonder where they are, Karen. They're all
Yeah.
at the Klan rally.
Yeah.
But no cops at Pride, no corporate sponsorships. I think Pride itself needs to get back to its roots, to the community supporting the community, and I think it'll benefit us long term in regards to our survival. What you cooking up?
Well, I'm wondering, like, does that take power away? Like, I'm now looking at this from like the other side of it. Is if the LGBTQ community decides not to play ball,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we decide, hey, we are going to stay away from corporate sponsorship, corporate interests, and the mass commodification of our identities. Does that mean that we have less leverage politically to lean on, the levers of power that protect us?
I don't think so inherently, but I could be wrong. That's just kind of my gut reaction to what was said.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
because
I think if you look at right now, obviously that's not happening. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
Well, there's one thing that fascists and conservatives want desperately more than anything that they just cannot and have not been able to have,
Hmm.
and that's cultural sway. They want cultural influence so badly, and they have never, ever been able to have mainstream cultural influence. So whether it's, for example, the most valuable tech company in the world was started by an immigrant, Apple. The most valuable tech company in the world was helmed by a queer person, Apple. Those are just like, that's just like a really quick, let me snip it. Um, but like our visibility, the presence of corporate muscle behind us does not bar us from having access to the levers of power, is what I'm trying to push back on.
Was Steve Jobs queer?
No, I almost said Tim Apple, Tim Cook. Tim Apple, he's a great guy.
Okay. Okay.
He's the best Apple I ever knew.
Jonathan Apple, founder of Apple.
Yeah, Jonathan Apple, founder of Queer.
Okay,
But
so
just because there's no corporate sponsorship doesn't mean that we won't have access to the levers of power. We write most of the scripts. We direct most of the plays. We there are rich queers that produce a shit ton of media. That's just who we are. We are creative individuals at our core, because it's how we have to tell our stories. It's our version of therapy. Conservatives create media to get home a point, and that's why there's no funny conservative comedians.
yeah, yeah, there's some really good videos about that. So are you saying that LGBTQ folks should not focus on being consumers as much as producers for
I think
consumption?
that's fair. Yeah, I think that's a good working theory. I think queer people should write zines. I think they should write books. I think they should
I
create art and murals and be present and create works that add to people's life experience, because that's what we have always done.
I see. It's hard for me not to get fired up in a rough direction when you say these things,
Hmm.
because zines are not made to make people billionaires.
No.
Community involvement, support, and art that enriches the people around you in your life is not what makes you wealthy or
No.
puts food on the table. So when I say like, hey, your example of queer folks
Mhm.
being billionaires, you know, Apple was not founded to enrich the local community.
No.
You know, so I don't want to mix those motivations. I think you're
Hmm.
right, and I want to underscore what you're saying, but I want to do it by highlighting where the problems are there. You know, it's interesting. Hey,
Hi.
that happens every time that you're on. Like you go and you come back really quick. It's
I'm
like you're
using
in.
Safari. Maybe it's Safari.
Oh, okay, okay, got it. It heard us talking about Apple and is taking
That's
out
so
its
funny.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I feel like your point about us community building stands in contrast to corporatization and
Hmm.
monetary motivation.
Hmm.
So yes, we need to make art and we need to make zines and all of that, and all of those things should run counter to the
Hmm.
system. Not be buying into the system, and definitely not trying to earn your place at their table by making enough money to be recognized.
Hmm. However,
However,
it just sounded like you had a however
no,
or a but coming.
no buts on
Okay.
that.
Okay.
It's Actually, no, we can add a but there. However, we are. I don't know. I think we're not. I don't want to be involved in this system, and I'm also recognizing that it's disempowering me.
Yeah.
Right. I am very disillusioned with politics here in the United States for obvious reasons, and I'm caught between people in my life who are saying, "Fuck politics, fuck all of them. They can all go to hell." I'm going to get involved just in direct action, right? Direct community building, and friends like you who are wanting to climb the ladder to reshape it. And I don't know. I feel like making zines is the former and not the latter.
Por qué no los dos? I think having both pressures present is invaluable.
Okay, so if both pressures are present, then shouldn't we be wanting rainbow stuff back at Target?
It'd be nice, but it's not necessary for our survival. Here's what matters. When I was growing up, queer, because whether or not I liked it, whether or not I knew it, I was growing up as a trans kid, and looking back, it was real obvious. But it's rainbow pride wouldn't have helped me. The corporate pride wouldn't have helped me as a queer child. What would have helped me is reading and seeing art that evoked emotions and seeing queer people exist proudly, with no shame, regularly. That type of shit affected me more than any presence of the rainbow did. I was like, cool, yeah, corporate pride, great. But the part that struck at my soul as a queer person was not the experience of a rainbow. It was having a manager at the local pottery shop that I worked at who was a trans woman. And me going, what the fuck is going on here? And not knowing what to think or how to feel, or not having experienced anybody who was like that before. And not even knowing that was a fucking option that you could be. Being visible, sharing the experiences out of art and writing, and just that shit shapes and protects queer people more than anything, because it helps us know and learn to recognize who we are. Not corporate pride. Corporate pride's great for allies, I think. I think it's great if you want to be able to kind of clock, oh, okay, this business has its heart in the right place. Cool, I might spend more money there. But
okay, so does this being okay with corporate pride jive with prior opinions about corporate pride, or is it just now that we don't have it, we want it, and once we have it, we don't want it? Are we waffling here? What's the way?
I don't think we're waffling. I still think that the lack of corporate pride is a net good for our community. And I think it just needs to be independent of the queer,
I mean, is this sour grapes? Are we looking at a breakup and going, it's going to make me a better person anyway? They were stupid.
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay. Let's be honest about it then, at least, right?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I don't think that, divorces and breakups, I don't think that they're necessarily a bad thing. Nobody ever comes into work and bursts into tears at their cubicle going, my divorce is falling apart.
No. But nobody says the breakup was a good thing either. You say it afterwards to build yourself up, but
I think breakups are great things. They can be sad, they can be devastating, they can be tragic, but out of the ashes, girl, you're gonna come out so much better than you were before. You're gonna come out a different person. You're gonna have great opinions. You're gonna feel so empowered. A breakup is usually good for cleansing the soul and starting fresh.
So if you're starting a new relationship with somebody, are you gonna say, hey, this is great, and when I break up with you, it's gonna be so good for me?
As somebody with abandonment issues, I don't talk about that.
No, as a normal human, you don't talk about that. I don't think that's just an abandonment issues thing. I think that's a weird, I think that's a weird thing to say. we don't look forward to the bad times. We make the best out of the bad times. Yes.
Mhm. That's isn't that where you cut your teeth as a person? That's where you find out who you are. How do you handle tragedy? How do you handle being knocked on your fucking ass? How do you choose to get back up? That's how you find out who you are. That is how the queer community will find out who we are, how we can stand, how powerful we are. Are we there
Okay.
for each other?
Okay. So now with this context, are you saying that corporate pride going away is good for the community because it rubs some dirt in the wound. It gives you some grit. It lets you know how tough you are because something bad happened and you're going to need to deal.
That's a
Like,
perspective.
but it
I
like,
I think it might be my perspective.
okay.
Um, but I think my perspective is also born out of the fact that would it have been nice to have the CEO of Target not shit all over DEI and throw us under the bus? Yeah. If that had never happened, I would still kind of roll my eyes at the Target corporate pride stuff because it's a little cringe, it's a little cheesy. But like both things can be true.
Again,
Complicated thought requires nuance, and
I
I have a lot of conflicting opinions about this.
yeah. Well,
I hold both things. I would love to have to not deal with the rollback of DEI, but and I would also really like for our community to know mutual aid, to know how to perform first response. I would love for us to know how to disseminate information because learning how to synthesize your own estrogen or testosterone is going to be an invaluable part if the Republicans have their way. Um, we're going to need to have these networks. They need to happen. It would be great if it wasn't elicited by the whole, rise of fascism.
right.
But yeah, cool.
We're
This is what we
we're
have,
gonna
so we'll
make
work with it.
lemonade, right? We're gonna make lemonade. We're gonna treat this as a
Right.
drill, and see how prepared we are for disaster. I guess. Okay. So if that's the case, then it sounds like, at least for you,
Mhm.
corporate pride isn't that good. It just, when it doesn't happen, we get to steal our resolve.
Mhm.
Now, my question is the audience does the audience agree with you?
I don't think
I
so.
I
I'm
want
hearing
to
my opinion and it sounds difficult to digest.
I'm definitely interested. Let me put the phone number up one
But the
more
best
time.
part about this
Yeah,
is I love learning new things. I love being convinced of new things. So if you can convince me otherwise, I will move. I've done this on the show before.
you have.
I have had an opinion. Someone has called in, or you have pushed back, and I'd be like, "No, actually, you're right. Never mind." More people should do that.
I so there are so many things that run parallel to this that I think are really important. And I feel like the lessons if we're gonna go this direction, talk about the lessons that we should be learning. We should
Mm-hmm.
be learning that we cannot depend on and should not depend on corporations or governments telling us, relying on them to celebrate us or to validate us. They also should not tell us who we are. And they were absolutely doing that. When you started seeing gay marriage become legal in the United States, you saw this history being built, right? This history of gays in the United States. And trans people were notably absent from that story.
Mm-hmm.
Was that because trans people weren't there?
It's because we weren't palatable. It's because we didn't have the institutional power. We weren't men. We weren't white. Some of us weren't white.
Yeah.
So it's. I think that there's discussion to be had about misogyny. I think in that.
Yes. And just I feel like the LGBTQ community is seeing its own history, has noticed that its own history has been co-opted and then rewritten to exclude the undesirables.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it
Yeah.
definitely feels like a lens that we're using to look at Black history
Mm-hmm.
and how when Black History Month comes around. I don't know about you, but when I was in school, we learned about the good ones and the bad ones. There was, the good ones, Martin Luther King, who wanted to be nonviolent, and then you had the bad ones, Malcolm X, and
Which is so crazy because Malcolm X was such a fucking badass.
yeah, and it was an opportunity to rewrite history, and where you saw the history of gay people in the United States also being rewritten. I don't know. I feel like everything is so fresh still. This is still the first few decades of, how do I describe this? I don't know. Like,
It's the first few decades of the rest of human civilization.
well, Obergefell v. Hodges is still in recent memory. Heck, my buddy Drew is speaking at so there's a conference that the American Humanist Association is putting on this fall, and the conference that he's speaking at, Obergefell is speaking there too. Jim Obergefell. Like, this is still all fresh, and we're still finding our way. Okay, so honestly, I think I can buy it. I think I can get on board with you that when people were against corporate pride, they were against it for a couple of reasons, good and bad. One is they didn't want us to lose sight of the fact that we are what build each other up, not Walmart. And you cannot hope that Walmart is going to be there for you when the times get tough. So don't get in the habit of going to Walmart for your validation as a human being.
Yeah.
And we're recognizing that corporations don't have hearts. They don't have souls. They don't have, values and morals, ethics, the way we talk about them. They're just going to follow the money. So when it happens to coincide with what you want, take it, but take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I feel like personally, after all of this, right? Let's say we elect Democratic House, Senate, and President in 2028.
It depends on who those people are.
Let's just say, sweep all the houses of government, and rainbow shit comes flooding back into Walmart and Target. You gonna buy a shirt?
No.
Given this conversation, I might be more likely to buy a shirt.
I'm not. I won't buy a shirt. I'll be more willing to palate the concept of, I need to get a vacuum. I'll go to Target. Because I live 5 minutes from a Target. I don't go there. I just straight up don't go there anymore. I get all of my shit either at Costco or I order it from the manufacturer. Just because I don't want to give my money to Target.
Okay. But we just talked about how there's a good to.
There is, and the allies can do that. I, as a trans woman who was abandoned by Target, abandoned by a corporation. That's my best-selling New York memoir. New York best time-selling memoir. Abandoned by Target. No, fuck that. I don't like capitalism. I don't like the idea of like, oh, they were good. Let me give them ass pats and go buy a stick of gum. I might consider getting a vacuum. I might consider getting like, oh, I'm on a road trip. I'm charging my car. I might as well stop in and get like a snack at Target. Like if it's like Target, Walmart, like Circle K, okay, cool. Target has a visible pride section. I might choose Target.
Walmart as well. Like all of these companies, all these corporations. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if you were saying rainbow shit at Circle K and 7-Eleven as well.
Like, yeah, but like fuck the Waltons. They're the literal worst.
So if we're recognizing that corporations do not exist for moral good or bad,
Hmm.
and they are just a reflection of whatever's going to make money,
Hmm.
then if you want to buy a shirt, buy a shirt, even if you were abandoned.
I'll buy a shirt if I feel like I want to give them my money. Like where do I want my money
Yeah.
as a queer person that has managed to get at or above the median income level? Where am I going to take those dollars and invest them? What company am I going? Like, there's a vote with your dollar aspect that comes to all of this. I am fine with allies or people who are not politically that keyed in doing what they choose. I don't have that benefit. I am politically keyed in. I know where my bread is buttered. I know who is and
I
is not necessarily acting with their values. I have a
but
responsibility to myself to choose
but I
as
know
responsibly as I can.
I'm pushing back on that. Didn't we just recognize that like companies don't have values?
They don't.
Okay,
They don't.
so how are you going to check that their values align with yours?
Okay.
Like
No,
I'm,
that's it. If if I take if I take your
like
push back to the extreme, I may
yeah.
as well buy a Tesla,
Well,
right?
no, I'm thinking the other way around. I don't want to visit Atticus wearing sackcloth and ashes because no one has proven themselves by the purity test to demonstrate that they have the values that are aligned with Atticus, right?
I'm gonna
Like,
switch it around. It's
yeah.
not a purity test. For me,
Oh
it's
no,
not a purity test.
but I think it is if we're talking about corporate values.
Mm-mm.
Really?
Switch the incentive around. It's not a
Okay.
purity test. It's a which of these shit sandwiches is filled with the least amount of shit.
Okay, so if they're all shit sandwiches, then the fact that they were motivated by greed
Mhm.
is a given.
Yeah,
Okay, so buy the rainbow shirt then.
I'll buy the rainbow shirt from the company that has the least amount of shit in their sandwich. If I need a Pride shirt and I don't have a Pride vendor that I know of and
I
have easily accessible and can deliver when I need it, I might just buy a Pride shirt from Target if I need it. But like, I'm gonna make an informed choice about it. I have to live with myself at the end of the day is the issue.
I
If you don't care about if this sounds
no 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 no
exhausting to
no
the
no.
audience,
This isn't a.
it is
It might be
exhausting.
exhausting. I'm just I want to push back on this because I feel like there's some weirdness here,
Hmm.
and I want to get to the bottom of it. And really, like, this is the topic that I wanted to talk about for today.
Hmm.
This weirdness is exactly why I wanted to have this conversation. I'm saying that we need to. I feel like you're. I feel like if you're still deciding which shit sandwich has the less shit in it, you've taken the wrong lesson. You've learned the wrong lesson from this. They're all shit sandwiches.
Yeah,
Every single fucking one of them. That's why you can't
agreed.
depend on them for community. That's why you can't depend on them for validation or anything like that. Instead,
Right.
we need to turn to each other for that and then recognize that if something is on sale that's got a rainbow on it, then
Mhm.
maybe that's okay to buy it, but you're also recognizing that they're all fucking shit, no?
Yeah, they're all fucking shit, but my friend Sock down the street isn't going to be able to sell me a Shark vacuum cleaner. I need to get one from a reputable retailer, and I'm going to choose the one that has the least amount of shit in their sandwich.
Hmm. Okay. So I think I think we are separated here, and we're separated on the. I'm talking about like buying rainbow merch, and you're talking about choosing a company to be loyal to buy your everyday needs from.
Fuck
Does that
company
sound right?
loyalty. Just to put that on there. Fuck company loyalty. Um, I will go with the company that is doing the least amount of harm,
Yeah,
and the
but
moment that changes, so does the company.
but doesn't that sound like shopping for loyalty? It sounds like you're shopping for whichever one you can be loyal to buy from because they're the least shitty.
I don't think it's shopping for loyalty. I think it's choosing the current best option. I don't believe in company loyalty.
It sounds like company loyalty though.
No,
No? All right.
no. If the Waltons started like funding um, anti-conversion therapy and opening up queer shelters, I might buy a vacuum from the Waltons. I want my money to go to like companies that have some sort of value, and
No, but,
that
but but
that
but hold on. No, we've just talked about how companies don't have values. They have profit incentives, and they
Mhm.
can sometimes align, and it looks that way. The same way that like bats and birds look similar, but that's convergent evolution. They didn't like come from each other, right?
I feel
Like
like we're running into the classic meme of boy, society sucks, we should do something about that. And the person popping out of the well going, and yet you participate in society. Ha ha ha.
no, I
Maybe I'm not getting something.
yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, no. I think that buying things because you live in a world where you have to buy things to survive doesn't make you a capitalist. It doesn't make you a corporate shill, right? I think that it's rare and difficult to find situations where corporations are making virtue decisions.
Hmm.
And even when it appears they're making virtue decisions, often there's a cost benefit analysis that has gone into that virtue decision, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so I think that there are a few companies. There was a point in time when Ben and Jerry's was super involved
Hmm.
politically. And that I think I could see myself becoming a loyal customer of Ben and Jerry's for their politics.
Hmm.
When it comes to major corporations, I think that they become disinterested in political or just any kind of virtue at all.
Hmm.
So if you're going to buy a thing from Target, buy it because you need it, but don't like they're all shit.
They are.
They're all shit.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Am I missing something? We've got a few
Okay.
callers.
Go ahead.
We've got a few callers. Do you want to take a caller or do you want to
I
let's
will just say that if I had to choose where to buy a chicken sandwich, Popeyes or Chick-fil-A, the politics are going to inform that decision.
Well, so
It
so
doesn't.
so Chick-fil-A is one of those examples of a company that has actually gone and made a
Mhm.
virtue decision. And their
Right.
virtue decisions are things that have made people loyal customers of Chick-fil-A, not because they
Mhm.
like the chicken sandwiches, but because they appreciate the politics, right?
Right. Yeah.
Totally understood that you would not shop at Chick-fil-A.
So there's the like the Chick-fil-A is funding anti-gay laws in Africa type of deal, and there's also the Waltons double dip on federal aid by underpaying their workers, and therefore also get the tax dollars for food stamps that go back to their job because their workers also get really sick discounts on merch. That's one
Hey,
reason why I don't shop at Walmart. But like everything's a calculation. Like why like I'm going to make as much an informed choice as possible, even though they're all shitty options. That's kind of where it boils down to.
I don't know. I feel like I would feel more comfortable if we're talking about it this way to just write them all off as fucking bad and some are just evil. The ones that are evil we should treat as evil. But
Okay.
everyone else, fuck them. They don't need to compete to tell me that they're virtuous. They're all
I'm
shit.
curious. I'm curious as to what the callers have in
Yeah,
mind.
let's talk to Dan in Alabama. Dan, you're live on the show.
Hey, this is Ben.
Oh, I'm sorry. Our call screener wrote Dan.
I
Ben, how's it going?
Oh, that's all right. It's all right. No, that's a very common mistake because I kind of mumble.
You're good. You are coming in a little bit low. Just speak clearly, and I'll do my best to bump your volume up as well. What's up?
Okay. But yeah, I think I want to touch really quickly on the corporations thing before the first question I put in.
Hmm.
They are. Because, most corporations have written into their corporate charters, best as I understand, to maximize shareholder value. So they are entirely, like, their first priority is to be mercenary, and we must treat them like that. And anytime they act contrary to that, assume that it's a shill, that it's a grift. They're pretending, and the only ones that don't are the ones who are explicitly written to be like nonprofits or benefit corporations or cooperatives, that kind of thing.
How do we tell the difference between a shill and a profit incentive? Like, if there's money to be made in selling queer merch, is that then not a value that they have incentive on getting behind? This is not something I necessarily believe in. I'm just pulling a thread.
Frankly, I think the only type of corporation that should have maximized shareholder value as its primary purpose should be an investment bank.
So, Ben,
that's the only one that'd be honest. That's the only one being honest, because everyone else is sacrificing quality and compromising things.
Well, so, Ben, I do want to give you a little bit of homework. If you got a pen and paper, just something to write down.
I got a computer.
Yeah. Okay. If you could type in Dodge v. Ford Motor Company, you can look that up later.
Okay.
And I can give you the synopsis, right? So early 1900s, you had these companies that were making these newfangled automobiles, and you had General Motors, you had Dodge, you had Ford, right? It turns out that Dodge and General Motors had bought shares in Ford. And at a certain point, brought a lawsuit against Ford because they felt that Ford was not giving enough of their profits to their shareholders. Right? Screwing over your own employees and screwing over your customers to the highest extent is what companies like General Motors and Dodge wanted. And when Ford didn't do that, they brought this lawsuit. It was I pull it up here, in Michigan. The Michigan Supreme Court ruled on the side of General Motors and Dodge. And it has been legal precedent for over 100 years that all companies that have shareholders have their first and primary obligation to their shareholders for profit. And if those shareholders think that they could be making more money if their company was more ruthless, those shareholders could actually file lawsuits against the companies. So it's not just written into the charter.
Was the start of it.
Yeah, it's not just written into charters or whether or not companies are good or bad, right? Like at the core of it, any company that has shareholders is beholden to fuck over everyone necessary, including employees and especially including customers, to minimize cost, drive up revenue, to get that revenue to those shareholders.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that bit of history. It's just, but that was certainly the impression I have had of corporations, for-profit corporations, my entire life. Interesting story.
Yeah.
I was working at a big corporation years ago, and we had a company meeting, and we came in, and they told us, okay, your job is not to design spacecraft and rockets. It is to maximize shareholder value.
See? Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, so I'm supposed to compromise the quality of my work to make the company's books look better.
Yep. And if you don't, the shareholders can sue the company.
Yeah. After that, I became a civil servant for 9 years.
Nice. I there's one other thing that I want to draw your attention to, and one of the big reasons why I also want to bring up Dodge v Ford Motor Company is You remember when the CEO of United Healthcare was killed?
It was a fun day.
Do I remember when that Mario brother
Allegedly,
did the thing to Bowser?
allegedly,
Allegedly did the thing to Bowser. Allegedly, yeah.
Him. He was,
I mean,
he
I
was
was
hanging out with
partying
me.
that weekend.
Yeah.
He wasn't there.
Yeah, he was with us. But
Yeah, he was
regardless,
we were watching TV.
yeah, when that CEO of United Healthcare was popped, that fiscal year, shareholders in United Healthcare sued United Healthcare under that precedent. They said that United Healthcare was not ruthless enough because they were afraid of getting popped. And so they sued the company because they felt that the company wasn't giving them the kinds of profits that they wanted.
I do remember that. And you know what? Oh my God, I have a family member who was getting screwed over by a insurance company, but United Healthcare treated them better than the other company.
Yeah, they're all
anyway.
Yeah, I let's not even get into that one.
Wretched.
Let's not even get into to that one. We're just talking about Target. If we want to talk about healthcare companies, right? If yeah, no, same incentive structure, same motivations.
Yeah. So I guess with Target, I haven't shopped there forever. Well, since the last big thing that came out about scrapping DEI. Yeah, but they're a bunch of mercenaries. The only thing they understand is
yeah, profit.
Taking away their money. The only thing they understand. They don't give a shit about anything else.
It looks like you had a specific question, though. It looks like you wanted to talk about mutual aid.
Yeah, because I think about all these corporate ills and all of the fascist government ills that are related to the corporate ills, and it seems like the ability to stop relying upon these forces is about the only lever we have to work against them. I was watching some of Drew's videos.
Oh,
and
no.
he was talking about the Black Panthers and how the Black Panthers didn't succeed in their civil rights goals by debating more.
Correct. They were also not
they created mutual aid networks and stuff.
Yeah. And I think
and I guess I was curious. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I guess I was curious what you two know about specific opportunities to get involved in mutual aid networks that could help give us a bit of agency from these powers that be that are getting horribly corrupted or have been horribly corrupt since the beginning.
I think that's a wonderful, wonderful question. So I think that mutual aid is it's interesting. I feel like you have to balance this local versus national piece. National organizations have the structure to do big numbers of things, right? But the bigger an organization is, the less it can meet the individual needs of a specific community, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the needs of your community need to be understood by your community and addressed by your community. So I think if I were you, the first thing I would do is look up if there are any people doing mutual aid in your city. If it's a church, suck it up and go help the church. Like if it's whatever groups, right? Like we need to go and do that with each other. And if you're not seeing it, then and only then would I start looking at national, larger mutual aid organizations and going, okay, hey, can we establish a satellite base here in my town so that I can then, maybe get some tools to build out mutual aid in my community. Right. We're at a place right now, Ben, where mutual aid networks are not as widespread and as well known as they need to be. And I would really love for us to look back at this time, right? I'd love for future us to look back at this and go, this is when it started. This is the time to start the thing. You are not too late to the party. This is the party. Like, I think that if you're not finding in your community mutual aid networks, I'm begging you to start one. Ben, Eric Murphy,
that I'm not looking.
on June 28th, 2026, I am begging you, Ben, if you are not seeing a mutual aid network in your community, start one. Because I guarantee you, no matter what your community is, there are people who need that aid. And the fact is even if you're just helping shore other people up, you want them to be there for you. Because if things keep getting worse, all we can do is hope that our neighbors are there for us, and we need to start by being there for them.
What do you know, like specific examples of ones in your area?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's interesting.
I imagine Portland's got a lot.
Portland's got a ton. And it really depends on what part of Portland you're in, because it's like a patchwork quilt. All over Portland, we are kind of broken up into these smaller communities that are really doing a good job of looking out for each other. And so even if you were to say, hey, I'm going to Portland, what part of Portland? Atticus, you could probably start some of this.
Yeah, so it kind of depends. The way that I've experienced it is there are larger groups that are really accessible. I mentioned DSA. Portland DSA is really, really great at kind of networking with mutual aid organizations. There's like local indivisible groups. I don't know if you've heard of that organization. They're kind of a rapid response, civic engagement, anti-Trump, anti-fascism. They're not a political organization. Like their activities are political, but they are not like electoral political.
I've
used to be
shown
on
up
this.
as an inflated T-Rex in that many protests so far.
I used to be on the steering committee for my local indivisible group, and we worked a lot with various mutual aid organizations. We had we'd sponsor events where people can learn how to be safety response at protests in case they get tear gassed, or if someone needs immediate medical aid. We worked with various groups to make sure the way that kind of Portland, in my experience, the way the Portland works is you have like these big groups that partner with these specialized smaller groups to kind of funnel where people want to be. And it works rather well. I have noticed that it does result in those specialized groups being a little harder to find, a little harder to coordinate with. But I would imagine in other places across the country, there's a similar setup. So if you can find the most accessible place that's doing good, you can probably find more specific mutual aid organizations that are working with or in tandem or have interacted with. There's a lot of overlap. Like I am a member of DSA, but I was also on the steering committee for Indivisible. There's a lot of overlap between those groups, and the networking is real in mutual aid. So if you're looking to get involved, I would recommend finding the most visible group and just kind of going from there. You'll be able to find your niche quite quickly, I think.
And once you dip your toes in, you're going to find more and more and more. It's not like you're going to dip your toes in and then that'll be it. Like once you start getting involved in like volunteering in your community, they'll come out of the woodwork. Like, friend, you have no idea. When I started volunteering in Texas, I remember before you know it, I had joined this group that was building accessibility ramps, because there are people who are like disabled who are trapped in their homes because their houses aren't accessible, and so like you're in a wheelchair and you don't even have a ramp out of your house, you're trapped, right?
Yeah.
And we would,
and of course you can't spend taxpayer dollars on that, because that would be socialism, and
right.
socialism.
So we would get together on the weekends and we'd build ramps for people in their houses. And
awesome.
there are people who would on their time actually just file, zoning permits and all of that, and their volunteer work was just filing permits so that on the weekends people could go and build ramps. And then in doing that, I found numerous organizations that were helping the homeless and all of that. Here in Portland, there are groups that, like, if you were to tap in with the No Kings protest, I guarantee you probably would have found people who were going to say, hey, here's how to be a part of a neighborhood watch committee. Hey, here are people who are organizing to drive folks around because they're afraid to get groceries, right? Or getting groceries.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, I live in a transportation desert. Like, we just got our Greyhound bus back recently because they were gone for years.
So just getting connected with a piece of that, all of a sudden we became very aware of where all of our local food shares were, right? And then, and food shares are amazing. You have, like, just being able to provide groceries, and you go there and you see all of your neighbors. Like, it's like, holy shit, there are more of us who are in need than you know. So many of us are suffering with no one knowing. And you don't need to necessarily stand out. Just go to the fucking food share and make sure that you've got some food on the table for your kids. And if you can volunteer there, that'd be amazing. Let's say you do that. Ben, look up a local food share. Go there. I guarantee you, if you go there 2 or 3 times, you are going to get opened up to 50 others. It's just
okay.
It's just like
Gotcha.
that's. And not just 50 other food shares, but 50 other ways that you can get involved.
Yeah. Okay. Now I just have to overcome my extreme introversion.
Well,
I did. Yeah, I know. I donated to the local food bank when they were canceling SNAP.
So the thing is like, donating is nice.
Absolutely stand to be more involved. I can absolutely stand to be more involved.
And also, like, there are people who their volunteer work is filing permits to the city so that people can get ramps built for their houses. Those are folks who are not very social, who found their way to make a positive difference in their community. They just found their niche. Go out and find what speaks to you. Find something. If you don't want to get super involved with people, there are ways that you can. You just need to figure out what it is. Go find what it is for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
cool. Yeah. Okay. Get involved, hook somewhere. And
I shit. There are
where all the doors are.
So you said you watched the recent video that Drew put out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I edited that video. I edited all of his videos.
Yeah.
Did you see the part where they were packing Narcan kits?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, they got involved with a local organization
that
was packing emergency kits that had Narcan for people who were overdosing, right? You don't need to be super social to put things in boxes.
Yeah.
Right? You just need to have 2 hands. You don't need to have money to donate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely gonna get outside and do that. I became a massive homebody over the COVID quarantine.
Same.
And part of it was the dismay at seeing the behavior of so many of my fellow humans that I haven't looked forward to being that engaged with a lot of them.
Entirely agreed. I'm really trying to get myself out of that case. You're talking to two opposite people. Atticus could not be more involved. Atticus is so fucking involved, it shames me. I actually radiate. It's like I'm getting a shame sunburn when I'm too close to Atticus, just for sheer volume of stuff Atticus is up to that I'm not up to. So
I'm just a girl.
Yep.
so like we're both sides of it, but I think we're all agreeing. Yeah, go. Like, I would love for you to do that. Actually, Ben, do that, and then if you do get involved after 2 or 3 weeks, if you haven't found 50 other places, call us. Tell us how it went. I want to know. And if you did connect, tell us how it went. I need some good news in this world.
Yeah.
Fucking please, Ben, be my good news.
God.
Go do the thing and then tell us how it went. Ben, you know what I'm going to do?
You gonna hold me to it?
I'm writing your name down.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to keep this at my computer. And every weekend, I'm going to look at your name and hope that you call in so you can tell us how it went.
All right.
All right, brother. Atticus, anything else to tell Ben?
No, I think he's on the right track.
Yeah. Thank you for calling.
His heart's in the right place, and that's kind of all you really need to like start doing.
Yeah. And you got
Go
two.
forth.
And you got two
Do good.
approaches. Yes. All right. Bye, Ben.
Bye.
I feel like we gave two different approaches, top down, bottom up, right? Here's some large organizations that are getting involved. Here's, more generic advice that's not. But like, yeah. I hope he does get involved. Everyone I talk to.
It's real easy.
Everyone I talk to who does that, helping people, they like find, I don't know, happiness and community and a sense of making a difference in their life, which gives them like a bit of a hardiness, a shield to hold when the world looks bleak, because they know that they themselves are being a source of light where they can. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of just acknowledging the fact that it's not easy to want to help. It's not easy to get out of your house, take a day that you have dedicated to yourself, and try to find ways to make yourself useful to others. It's hard. Capitalism is exhausting, and it makes it so that helping others is also exhausting. But political action, mutual aid, that kind of shit, it's such a necessary feature for a healthy populace, for a healthy world, community, society. Pick your favorite. So necessary. And once you find your niche, it's good. It's fun.
At that point, it's not Catholic. It's not capitalism either. It's, yeah. All right. Let's talk to Chelsea in North Carolina. Chelsea, you're live on the show.
Hello, happy Pride.
Happy Pride! How's it going? What do you want to talk about? What's up?
Wait a second, I got y'all.
What was that?
Oh, she had to yawn.
Oh.
Okay, it didn't happen, but I thought I was going to. It probably happened when I talk, or when we continue to talk. Or anyway, let's jump into it, and I'll yawn when I yawn.
Yeah. What's going on? What's on your mind?
So I really enjoyed the topic that y'all were talking about like, do we rely on, like earlier about, do we rely on, do we lean into community, or do we lean into allyship, or do we lean into both? Because my position is both.
That
is my position.
Can you give me a bit more information? You said community or allyship, and
This was about the topic y'all were talking about earlier about like when y'all started to snowball into the corporate stuff.
Yeah.
Like Target and stuff, like Pride merch and stuff.
Are you saying like corporate pride? Are you calling like corporate pride allyship?
Well, we can delve into that, but I was more leaning into there's another aspect to that I was more so wanting to call in about, which was, let me just see if I can word it right, and bear with me, I'm autistic, and when I get on a topic that I'm passionate about, I kind of have brain fog and fart.
No worries.
As I call it.
It is our job as the hosts to keep you on track and help shape and guide things. So you're good. Okay. Allies, community, set the stage. Like, what's going
on? So my thought process was, or my topic, or whatever, to hone into what I was calling in about, was like, as I said before, maybe I can lean into allyship, lean into community, lean into both, and to further onto that, to kind of I guess elaborate on that would be what y'all were talking about earlier in the show, which was about come on.
It's okay. Companies marketing Pride merchandise. And
that was one part of it, but there was also the part of it's coming back. It's coming now.
Yeah.
Where Atticus was talking about, no, Dante, no, that's the cat.
You're good.
And I was getting back on track. What was I talking about? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Dante.
That's totally okay. So you were talking about allyship and community, and then you said that Atticus was saying...
There we go. Atticus was saying what they liked, what made them feel seen, and like made them think about like, oh, you can do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with her on. Is it her?
Yes, I'm sure. Yep.
Okay. I disagree with her just a little bit on like purely leaning into community. I think there is value in allyship. That's what I was going to call it about mainly.
100%.
But we can.
I'm curious. Well. I'm gonna ask a couple questions because I certainly didn't. What is there anything that comes to mind specifically about what I said that came across as me being less receptive to allyship?
Maybe I didn't get the full conversation. So I was a little bit distracted at the time, but I was listening in at the same time. So okay. Maybe I didn't. Why don't you tell me just a little bit here and there about what you were talking about during that time frame?
Well, I'm not sure what you are like. What part of the conversation are you referring to? Because then I can clarify.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
I definitely want you to answer, reply to Atticus first. That would be rude of me to jump right in. So please, yeah. What part of the conversation, like Atticus was asking?
Oh, I don't know if you had to. Okay. So what Atticus was asking about, like, no, I haven't brain fart again.
That's okay.
I'm passionate about this. Okay.
That's okay. Can I take a stab at this, if that's all right with both of you?
That's fine.
Go for it.
So, Chelsea, what is the difference between allies and community? I think we need to separate those, and that might help. You're talking about allies versus community. What is the difference?
One is maybe a definition of community. You are getting at that. How do you define community? Something you're a part of.
Yeah.
And allyship is something that isn't that isn't a part of the group you're in,
Okay.
but supports the other group that you're in.
Got it. So
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So are you
Okay.
saying how much should we depend on the straights?
Well, cis straights, whatever.
Like, is that?
Yeah,
I-
I'm not saying we should
I
lean
will-
into it. I don't want to lean into it. I'm saying we should
Okay.
rely on those that we do trust,
Okay. But
that we know we can trust.
But that's the framing, right? Is that where we're going? Is how much should we lean on help from the straights?
Yes, and I think there's value in that.
Okay.
But I'm more so as I disagree. I think, but you can correct me if you're wrong. If I'm wrong, Atticus, your position. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Your position was we should lean into community, just pure community. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm very pro community. That I just want to put a little asterisk here that allies are part of my community. They are part of my social group. They are some of the most fierce fighters. When I was still coming to terms with both my sexuality and my gender, I made it a point to be very clear to my friends, my family, that like if they didn't feel like I had a friend who was a trans woman, and Trump had just gotten elected, and she was feeling a little scared and a little nervous, and I was like, hey, if you need like a day to take your mind off of things instead of like survival, and you don't want to take transit to work, and you're feeling, call me. If I'm available, I will drive you to work. Or if you are out late at night and you don't feel safe and you don't want to get an Uber and the vibes are just not good, call me. I will come get you. That's allyship. That's community. And okay. I was cis and straight at the time, and cis straight people can be incredible allies and incredible resources for the queer community. So I don't necessarily differentiate allyship and community. I think they are one and the same.
You know, that's a perspective I haven't considered. And I appreciate that.
I can actually, I'm very, very similar with you, Atticus. I think the line, I think I have like a test that I use a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that is, how much are you considering how much you're an ally? Because if you're not considering your allyship, it's because you're in community with that person.
Yeah. Like, is your allyship going, ally?
Yeah,
or
ally.
Is it, hey, I'm going to make life a little easier for queer people because I know they have it hard. How can I contribute? How can I help them share this load? That's allyship. Yeah. That's community.
When I asked Atticus
to be on if that's the case, if I may jump in, may I?
Well, I just wanted to clarify. When I asked Atticus to be on the show as a regular host, I didn't say, man, we need more trans people. How many trans people do I know? Okay, I'm going to make a list and I'm going to see, okay, maybe Atticus can represent trans people on the show. I'm a good ally. I didn't think about that at all. I was just like, I love having conversations with Atticus. I want Atticus on the show. Oh yeah, cool. Look at that. There's a difference. The difference is we're in community with each other. I'm not making ally choices because you know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
Eric, are you saying you're not in favor of DEI?
I'm saying that is like an allyship thing. And there's a place for that. So maybe I'm redefining allyship as something that is thoughtful and intentional and specifically not in community. So maybe we shouldn't say that allies are in community. If you're in community, you don't think about being an ally. You're just, that's my friend. That's my neighbor. And if you don't have trans friends or gay friends or black friends or whatever the case is, but you want to be involved, be an ally. That's great. But like, you're an ally because you still ideologically go, hey, this is what I want to do, but you're not in community.
Big asterisk on allyship. Part of the hardest part about being an ally to a community that you are not part of is listening. It is very important that you listen to the communities that you're part of. And I will be the first to admit, I was not a great ally at first because I refused to listen. I was like, guys, why are we doing X, Y, and Z? It's not going to be very effective. I don't talk over people in the community. It's a really common mistake, and lots of people's hearts are in the right place. And to expect the community to give you the grace that they really don't need.
Oh, so Chelsea, have you seen
Yeah.
like when Atticus is on, they drop out every once in a while for like a couple seconds?
Yes, I saw that. It was a question mark
Yeah.
thing. I was like, and it's in a circle.
Atticus just did that.
Yep.
Yep. So we're just gonna give Atticus. You know, Addie, I'm actually gonna swap the camera around because you're making a face. Addie's just kind of frozen there. So we're just gonna give Addie a second. And there she is. Hello.
Continually getting cucked by Tim Apple.
Tim
WB.
Apple the fifth of
Anyway, expecting people to be gentle with you when they need allyship and not to teach you is a high order. So listen and accept the fact that you may hear perspectives that challenge the way that you view things, and if you view them differently and it's challenging to you, good. Sit with the discomfort and figure it out. Don't ask people to teach you, or find someone you're really close to and they can teach you.
So can we say
Yes.
that? Go ahead.
If I may jump in real quick, to what Atticus just said, I can attest to that because when I first started transitioning, I was what's it called, a transmedicalist or
Oh,
true
truth
trans kind of person. Yeah, I leaned into that, and then I came across it. I had a friend, online friend. This is, and I think that helped out because of the ambiguity. I thought they just went by she, her, but they went by
Chelsea.
they, she, they. Yes.
Could you say
What
that
happened
last?
again?
Could you say that last part one more time?
Which part?
Sorry,
Or do I need to say it because?
No, I just Addie missed out on that last bit you were saying. So you're transitioning. Your friend was going by she, they.
Yeah. My friend was going by she, they. I thought it was just she, her, and basically they were kind of like non-binary, femme leaning. I didn't know that. I thought it was just I'm just binary, she, her. So when I had anyway, long story short, I had my mind changed through them
Because you were listening.
because I listened.
So
I wanted to know if I was wrong because I appreciate being wrong and like I'm going to change my mind.
Yeah. So we're having a conversation about trans issues, and I'm the only cis person on the call. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Addie dropped out again. Give Addie 2 seconds. She'll be right back. There we go. Okay, there we go.
Jamie,
I've just adjusted things a little bit. Addie, please take the lead on this call. I will listen.
Yeah. Boy, transmedicalism. That's here. I am so glad that you listened and learned, because that is a very easy hill to die on. And for those who are not super informed, transmedicalism is the position that you are not actually trans unless you have surgeries or take hormones, or you need to have X, Y, and Z in order to qualify as a trans person, other than the fact that, hey, my gender identity does not align with the one I was assigned at birth. Transmedicalism is a cancer in the queer community, and it should be cut out and extinguished as quickly as possible, because it kills people, quite literally. Like that perspective is so detrimentally dangerous to people at any point in their transition. And I'm so glad to hear that you listened and learned. It's huge.
If I may elaborate on how they changed my mind, it was through walking me through it. Like my thought, they're gone again, or she's gone again.
She is. I I guarantee you, Eddie is upset at this moment.
Yeah,
and is
it's very important.
Yeah, and is trying her best to come back as quickly as possible. So as soon as she does, I will, bring her back in. I'd love to jump in just a little bit and maybe provide a little bit more information for people who haven't heard about transmedicalism.
Sure.
Yeah, so I was first introduced to it when I learned, when I heard what Buck Angel had to say. Do you remember Buck Angel?
Yeah. They have a podcast now.
Yes,
I remember you talking about it on the show one time.
Yeah, so Buck Angel is a famous trans dude porn star who believed, and like many other people, believes that in order to transition, you need to do the hormones, get all the surgeries, and then you've earned the right to be called whatever it is, right? If you have not had the surgeries and done the hormones and all of that, then you don't have the parts, so you don't get the stamp of approval. Does that sound like transmedicalism to you?
Yeah, but I thought he detransitioned.
Buck Angel?
Did he? Yeah, I thought he did. Or am I just misremembering?
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't heard from Buck Angel in a long time. Maybe I have no idea.
I don't want to keep up with that.
Yeah, that would be wild. But the transmedicalist position is a weird gatekeeping thing.
It is.
And yeah, I learned about how awful it is when one of my closest friends in the world, who was a trans man, went on testosterone and started his transition. And the testosterone did really bad things to his body. His body was not doing well with it. It was leading to some really shitty side effects. And I remember talking to him and him saying, if I can't transition and I'm not a woman, but I can't be a man, what am I? It was this heartbreaking moment of my friend, having this strict view and then realizing that, not everyone's path is the same. And of recognizing that not all men look the same. But regardless of whether or not he had the surgery or took the testosterone, he is who he is, and we see him that way. So that's how I kind of worked my way through and out of that whole ideology, is someone I love. And yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Oh, okay. May I at least, since it's been a while since Atticus hasn't been on, can I continue what I was gonna say earlier?
So I have Addie rejoining right now. It looks like
Yay!
Addie is back. I just need to re-add Addie to the video because that's how it goes. Addie, you're just going to be like main on screen for like a hot minute, okay?
Cool, that's fine with me.
Here you go.
am using Firefox now, so hopefully this works.
Can you two hear each other okay?
I can hear Chelsea.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, I can hear Atticus. How they walked me through, changed my mind about transmedicalism and true trans, that kind of ideology. I agree with it is a cancer in the community. It's really bad. I was really bad. And I cringe every time I think about it, that I used to be that way. But anyway, they treated me as a person that was wrong, that just was misguided.
Yeah.
They weren't mean about it. They weren't yelling like, all caps kind of thing, because this is online. They weren't all caps about it or yelling if it was in person.
Was there a specific question that they posed to you, or a specific piece of information that they provided that
Yeah,
made you
yeah.
kind of just pause?
Yeah. They provided like information that they were non-binary, and then they made it personal. In other words,
Mhm.
personal as in like because I was their friend to begin with. Um, and did I want to throw away this friendship just because I didn't agree with their stance? And
Mhm.
also, I wanted to know if I was wrong. Am I wrong for this? And they told me they were non-binary, trans, femme leaning, but still non-binary nonetheless. Um, and that stuck with me, and it took me a while to. I did like immediately had that flip switch kind of almost flip all the way, but the longer it sat with me, the longer it flipped, and then it clicked. But that was it's just treating me like I was. I mean, they treated me like I'm a person. I was just misguided.
Yeah.
They were nice about it. They didn't.
I think
Yeah,
that's really important. It's important to meet people
yeah.
where they're at, and I want to provide an
Mhm.
asterisk for anybody watching. If it is not your responsibility if you are a part of a marginalized community, it's not your responsibility to provide grace, to provide patience, to provide kindness. Those positions are needed. It is important that people exist who can provide those things. But that being said, it does not have to be your position. It does not have to be your responsibility. You choose that mantle if you can handle it, if you can bear that weight, if you can handle those conversations. I come on this show and I deal with people who consistently misgender me, who disagree with my very existence, who think I am a pedophile for the fact that I choose to have estrogen in my system. And it's fine because that is what I choose to do, because I want to be an educational source for others. Some people don't need to be burdened by that. So if someone chooses not to be kind to you over your opinions, probably because they're just tired of being hurt. That being said, I think now's a good time to share some information with Chelsea. I don't go into my gender identity a whole lot. I use the term trans woman because it's really easy and efficient to get across what is going on. But my pronouns are not entirely reflective of my gender identity. I use she, her.
Oh,
But my gender identity is genderqueer. Gender creature is how I've used it for years. I have always described my gender as gender creature because I am also autistic and I don't have a really strong correlation to my gender expression. It is something that was foisted upon me. And now I have to have one, kind of. And I feel the most comfortable like this. I feel the most comfortable being pretty. But gender creature is just, I don't have a lot of dysphoria. I more lack euphoria. So I choose the assets and the aspects of gender that give me the most euphoria. And that just happens to be this version at this moment.
I've never heard of gender creature before, but I can definitely understand that through autistic expression because
It's a
I'm also
bespoke identity,
autistic.
Chelsea.
I see you. But I mean, yeah, go ahead, Eric. Go ahead. Yeah, it's your turn to talk.
I just want to like, I'm enjoying watching this conversation between the two of you, and I think that this conversation should primarily be between the two of you. I just like want to throw a flag on the play for anybody watching. I think our community has widely whittled down to the people who are mostly agreeing with us, but just for people who don't understand, or maybe you've been in this place for so long that you forget this. This is for you viewers. This is not a 101 level conversation that you're listening to. Addie and Chelsea are having a conversation that presupposes a lot of conversations have already happened about gender, about sex, about self-identification, about even transmedicalism and those kinds of things. And they're getting into the more like very personal kind of language that people use when they're in a safe place and they're talking to each other. If you don't get this, conversation's probably not for you, and that's okay. But just recognize that there's no expectation that you're going to have this level of conversation. So just so you know, this feels like, you hear people say, oh, well, there are 10,000 genders. Fucker, you have not had the prerequisite conversations to join this one.
Yeah.
So, like, I do just want to be very clear that for people who are watching and who have not been privy to those 301 level conversations,
Yeah.
this is what you're seeing. You're seeing people who are comfortable in their skin, having a conversation about who they are and finding those ways that work the best. And you're privileged to be here. So you're welcome. Go ahead, you two.
That's a really good disclosure. I forget sometimes that discussing the idea of my gender being gender creature is may ruffle some feathers, because that's just how I've always been. It's how I've always felt. I've always felt incorrect in my chosen gender, and this version of myself is the most correct I have ever felt. So, but
I think
the blanket term that is good. Trans woman.
There's a delay between the two of you, and you're both too damn polite. Chelsea, please continue.
Okay. Okay. I think what would help people understand gender creature is if you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, obviously, Atticus. Does gender fluid sound familiar? Like
No.
Similar to what you're describing?
No, not at all.
No?
I'm not
Okay,
gender
no.
fluid. I'm not gender fluid in the slightest. I will dyke up my wardrobe. You will see me out on the streets with some cargo pants and Doc Martens or other boots with like a flannel. You will see me wearing that. You will also see me in 4-inch high heels, fishnets, a skirt, and a relatively low cut top with a push-up bra. That's my gender expression is not fluid. It won't really go past neutral. I don't thrive on the masculine side of things. The most mask I get is lesbian dyke, and that's still pretty femme. But I exist in the gender queer. That I prefer gender queer as the most blanket term. Trans woman is something that I have embraced and have grown to love. I have been really hesitant to use it in years past because I never thought I was good enough for it. And so calling myself a woman is something that I've been empowered by and have been informed by those who love me and who have had this conversation with me in the quiet moments of like the early hours of the day. That I am in fact a woman for all intents and purposes. I am visibly, clockably seen and viewed and treated socially as a woman for the most part at this point. My facial hair isn't super recognizable when I've taken care of it. I have a chest that is relatively prominent. My facial features are softened because I've been on HRT for some time now. I'm tall, but tall doesn't disqualify me from being treated with any sort of misogyny or feminine gaze. So there is a power in accepting the fact that I am a woman in society. It does not necessarily mean that's the most apt word for my relationship to my gender, but woman is the most apt term for other people's relationship with my gender, and I really, really love that.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I just wanted a little bit of clarification on that. That's all. Yeah. So I appreciate the clarification.
Of course.
Yay. Let me just bring myself back in. So I had moved the camera over because I figured there was a disparity here and I wanted to give you more screen because you're having the conversation, but let's pop that, right? Yeah.
It's a little bit of screen.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, Chelsea.
Yes.
I don't know if we answered your question. The question is, should we rely on allies, our own
No,
community?
you did. You did. You
Both.
did it in a different way than I thought you would, honestly. I think
How did you feel that was answered?
I felt, as I said before, it was just answered a different way than I thought I was gonna like get out of this, and that being, it was answered such as like, let me just repeat what y'all said, and that might help out move this along faster. Um, I, okay, let's start with you, Eric. You told me, you asked me a question like, what is the difference between allyship and community?
Mm-hmm.
I said community is, this is like a recap. Here we go.
Yeah, you said community LGBTQ
is
folks.
a group you're in, and then allyship is an external. I mean, let's just say is another group that doesn't belong to your group, but the allies support your group in other ways, or ways that are helpful. They just, very supportive.
Yeah.
That
was your definition.
That was my definition.
Mm-hmm.
But my mind was changed when Atticus said that they view, and you can still correct me if I'm wrong, if I misheard this, allyship and not companionship, community kind of can asterisk going hand to hand. They can be part of the same club, but there is a difference. Does that make sense?
More or less. I don't think there's a difference between allyship and community. I think they are facets of the same coin. There's a Venn diagram, and a lot of overlap with allyship, a lot of overlap with community. I think they may even be a circle, depending on how you're talking about it. But yeah, no, I don't see a functional difference between allyship and community, as long as your allyship is genuine allyship and not
is listening.
Yeah.
I have a different view on allyship that I shared afterwards. So Addie doesn't see a difference between allyship and community. I personally think allyship is what you do when you're not part of community. When you're not in community with people that you support, then you take measures to do things to make sure you're not being a dick.
Asterisk. I'll change my definition to Eric's. I like that better.
So
because I think you're part of my community, Eric, but I don't think you're part of my trans community. That's you're an ally to the trans community, 100%. But you're like we don't want you at the barbecue.
Well, so the funny thing is I actually don't think
you're in the circle.
Well, so using myself as an example, I appreciate that that's how you see me, and I also don't see myself as an ally to you because I'm not thinking about your identity as a trans person when it comes to decisions I make about you ever. I make decisions about you because you're my friend, and in that way, everything I do is in community with you. I think that when you're in community, you don't need to go, hey, ally, I'm including somebody from this marginalized group. And that's great to do, but I don't think I'm doing that. I don't think I'm an ally to you. I think I'm an ally to a lot of people I don't know, hopefully. I think I could be more of one. But the way I define it, I don't put community as all the straights on one side and the non-straights on the other side. For me, I define it more around who you are in community with. So
yeah,
fuck you. I'm at the barbecue. That's why I'm not an ally.
Did you just change your mind live on air?
I usually do. Yeah. I don't know.
You're invited to the birthday board game night.
Yes, I am.
Always.
Yes, I am. I don't know. I feel like this honestly ties us back to our overall topic, and I think this is a great way to kind of put a bow on it.
Yeah.
Chelsea, I'm gonna let you go and then kind of wrap things up with Addie. Okay.
Sure. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for calling. This is good. Okay, so here's a question, Addie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about allyship is a word that we needed at the beginning of this conversation.
Yeah.
Because when you are an ally, when you're not in community with a group of people that you want to support, it makes sense to be mindful and to create structures that empower that allyship. That way, you know, you're doing the best you can. Structures of allyship, that's what DEI looks like. DEI is not because you're in community. DEI is an ally structure. I think that in the same way that I talked about convergent evolution, where bats and birds, they can both fly, but they don't come from each other. I think corporations, folded diversity, equity, and inclusion into their corporate structures because it was financially beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And we made the horrible mistake of confusing that for them being mindful allies.
I think so too.
And
I wish I had gone into I'd gone into this conversation with this episode with a little bit more nuance, because there's a lot of things that I think I might change in terms of how I've talked and described certain definitions.
yeah, me too.
And now I really, I wish I was more prepared for this episode. I love, and this is the beauty of this podcast, because these are like first draft conversations that
Yeah.
we're having live on air, and people can go back and watch.
Do you
And I'm
wanna-
going to scream at myself if I ever rewatch this episode because of
Well,
the definitions that were used. Or
do you want to
that's-
have, we had the 101 conversation today. Do you want to have the 201 conversation next time you're on?
I think that could be fun. Yeah.
Let's build on this with better definitions. So what we're
This
leaving
is
this
a good
at,
rough draft.
yeah, so what we're leaving this at is that DEI is a structure of allyship.
Mm-hmm.
And for the purposes of this conversation, this episode, we mistook corporate incentive to do DEI as, and we mistook that for thoughtful allyship, and it wasn't. They could make money from doing it, and so they did. And now that they're not doing it, we're sad because we are like, how come you're not doing the things that shows that you're thoughtful? They were never thoughtful in the first place. I think we can all agree on that. I don't know. I think I would love for you to push back, because the way that I definitely do think about allyship versus community is, like I said, personally for me, community is best. But you can't be in community with the whole world.
Right.
And you can't be every identity. And so structuring allyship into the things that you do is important. And that's its usefulness. And so that's what we're going to continue to benefit from. But I don't know. I like what Chelsea brought up. I feel like people draw the line between the straights and the not straights. And
I think Chelsea was very instrumental in pointing out a blind spot that I had.
you know, what was that?
Community and allyship. I didn't really see a difference of it before, but now we've gotten into the weeds a little bit, and I'm finding that there's a lot of negative space between the two.
Like?
And I would be interested in kind of delving into that.
Yeah?
My notes for the next show are literally just community versus allyship.
Okay.
And I do think they're different.
I do too. I'm just wondering if they're different for different reasons.
We'll find out.
Okay. I'm down. I'm really excited. Put me in my place. I'm always down. Addie, where can people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at atticus.len.bluesky.social. You can find me on YouTube at Atticus Things. Only one video for now, but we're working to change that.
I desperately want to change that.
That is the currently best option for you to find me. I'm not super active on TikTok and making videos at the moment, though I could be. Again, Atticus things. And that's basically all I'm active on.
So, I know that you're getting very involved when it comes to like, supporting and seeing community stuff that you're up to. And
Mhm.
in my capacity as a video editor, I'm happy to help, but I do have a caveat, huge
Mhm.
asterisk. We must make a minimum of one video first that has to do with bridges and roads. And if we don't, I'm not doing anything else to help you first.
I think so. I started my research into that type of video because we've talked about making bridge videos before,
Yes, we have.
and I wound up having so much like research material about the waterfront of Portland because I'm
Yeah,
starting at the waterfront because that's an important place if we're going to talk about bridges,
sure.
and now I'm rereading a master's dissertation from 1981 about the economic and political impacts, or no, the economic and political activity of the West Side waterfront between like Cooch and First. It's a really long dissertation, but it's like 120 pages, and I'm really excited to learn about the economics
Yeah.
of that. Like, it's so fascinating. Anyway,
Look, we're
I'm
we're
down the rabbit hole,
we
and it's
need to do
bad.
this. We need to do this. I do want to read super chats because we got a good number of them today. Q, again, happy birthday, says, thank you for the birthday wishes. I'm honored to be a member of the crew and love working with everyone. Happy Pride, and of course, moo. John Klein sent $5. Thank you, John, and says, hubby and I married on 6/26/14, the day it became legal in Indiana, exactly 1 year before nationwide legality. Happy Pride. Everyone here, my unfinished journey, sent $6.66 and says, hail Nero, Eric and Addie, and hail buying Pride apparel from Ember at Astral Pride. Sean Loves Maths sent £5 and wants to scramble my brain. Today's brain scramble is Glivenko's theorem. If, I don't know what that symbol is. So if symbol is a propositional formula, then symbol is a classical tautology. If and only if not, symbol is an intuitionistic tautology. I have a weird repulsion to the idea of intuitionistic tautologies, and I think we might need to explore that. My unfinished sock sent $2 and says, don't be a gatekeeper, like and share instead. That's right. Like and share, guys. Hit the subscribe, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Skeptic Generation. Everything goes right back into the show. And these are such fun conversations to have. If you want to find me, you can find me right here. I do the show, and this is where I open up to conversations. If you want to find me on social media, good luck, because I'm not on social media. Fuck them. Fuck all. No, screw it all. I'm done. Atticus, I'm glad you're putting yourself out there because I am so fried. I really, really want to suggest to all of you, do some self-evaluation. Think about what you can give. Maybe it's a little bit of time. Maybe it's a little bit of expertise. And then see where in your community you can actually help. Because I do think that, Addie, you said you were late to the party earlier on in our conversation when it came to like pride and everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like local community action, building support, I want to see a future where people look and go, man, I wish I was on the ground at the beginning in 2026. It doesn't mean that it hasn't been happening before, but I want to see a world where this blows up. This becomes something that we will never again rely on a government that can take away the food from our mouths because we're busy feeding each other. Governments can do other things, but let's reestablish the connections with our neighbors. Eddie, I look forward to our next conversation. Anything else before we go?
No, that's it.
All right, everybody. I'm going to be heading over to the after show. I don't know if you got things to do, Addie. But if you want to join the after show, everybody, link is in the description. Also in the Discord, or in the Discord, in the live chat. It just got dropped. So come join us in the Discord. And until next time, I'm Eric Murphy.
I'm Atticus Lynn.
This is Skeptic Generation.
And I'm glad we had this talk.
Damn straight.